Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Bad Company is a really cool game about competing gangs, and the way you're doing it is fairly interesting. Now, it borrows from like Machikoro and Space Base, where you're rolling the dice and making combination with the dice, and you're using them to activate cards on your row. You're going to have a police card that will move with the black die, and then you're going to have the two combinations you make. The person rolling the dice can activate both, where the other people can only activate the one. And you'll be getting goodies and coins and things to upgrade your people, and they'll kind of stretch out almost like the funny mirrors you'll see at like a carnival or something. And the artwork in it looks fantastic, and as you're stretching them out and getting extra abilities and stuff, that all plays fairly well. There's a little bit where your cars are kind of racing from the cops on the board. That's fairly neat as you're trying to get away, because you're gang members, right? That makes sense. I think that's very interesting. This does have some luck involved as you're rolling the dice and you're kind of making the best of the manipulation of the dice that you can. You can pay coins to re-roll, etc. There's things going on. The game is fairly light. It's not a super duper deeper game. Do I like it better than Space Base? I definitely like the theme better. I might like Space Base a little bit better. I find there's a little bit more going on. But this is a fantastic game. I do like it better than Machikoro. So it's probably my tied for first favorite game in the genre, or my second favorite. That's high remarks for this game. It looks cool. And the gang stuff isn't played for reality. It's played for laughs. It's meant to be humorous. It's got cartoon artwork in it, and it'll work well for a family. This game will work great for a family. Does have some luck, like I stated earlier. It's going to have the dice rolling, so you're going to have to like that. I think as you're building your tableau up, I think that's going to be really fun for people to pick out what cards they want and kind of how they want it all to mesh together. Do you go really big on 7 because 7's going to come up more, but there's a weaker cards? Or do you go for like the 2 and the 12? Because, man, when you hit, it is going to feel great. And that's kind of the rub here on Bad Company. It's kind of what you're doing in it, pressing your luck, rolling the dice, mitigating those somewhat in order to... And sometimes you put those dice around just so your opponent can't get something. A little bit of that I hate placement of the dice, too. I like that fairly well. You do feel like you're building up your game. You really do feel like that you're progressing through the game. It has a start, middle, and end, and it feels great as you're going through it. This is one I highly recommend. Bad Company is fantastic. Great game, really fun. Can play with gamers, can play with your family. It works across all genres. Non-gamers can probably pick this up pretty quickly. This is a winner for us, Bad Company. Here's Bad Company. It's a very cool box, I think, with the money kind of flowing and all the different little characters, different types of... Look at this guy. Little different kind of gang members you can get. It's a cute box. It really tells you it's going to be more of a family game. You're going to get a rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. As for what you're going to get inside, these will be the boards that you're going to have. Now, they're all a little bit different. You can see with different people, different numbers, and different little icons that you're going to have on the side. And everybody's going to get, a random one for each one. It'll be kind of long. So, and these are kind of flimsy, but they're fine. They just sit on the board. This will be the little scoring board you have and a little track you go down if you want to buy things. It is double-sided. It looks nice. And this will be the main board where your cars will be going across. And you can see there's 2 of those double-sided. There's no real insert to the box. As you can see, it's just a generic insert. Here are the cards in the game. They are double-sided. They have a little bit of a linen finish. They remind me of Munchkin-style cards. But they feel really good in the hand. The artwork is cool. And you're going to get your little player aids and stuff that you will have here. So the cards are actually pretty darn good quality. These little cards will be used for 2 things. You're going to have your loot cards, which will have icons on them based on what you're able to get. And then you'll have your upgrade cards of people you can add to your gang. So you're going to have 2 sets of these. Very nice little finished cards, but they are the smaller type. Now, rather than have icons for each specific one you get, you can have check marks that are generic. This is a way probably to save cost and printing ways, but they look fine and they're fine. They're little small things. They fit on the board rather well. And this will be the last of the components. Some generic little scoring things. You're going to have your little cars that are cute, and here's your little black police car that will come through. The dice are just regular 6-sided. It's rounded off. They feel a little wooden, like a hobble one. These are little cardboard necklaces you're going to have to score on. The components aren't great. For a mass market or a game, it'll be like an evergreen. Producing this all the time is fine. I've seen people upgrade the components here, and they've done a really good job, adding micro machines and stuff to this. But your mileage may vary. So here are the rules. The first thing I'm going to get is a big page reference sheet. There's one of these for everyone, but you can kind of pass that around if needed. For the rules themselves, you're going to have a picture of the components, which is nice, and then a general setup without a full picture of setup. And that here will be your player board setup. But it does like zoom in where you need to be, and that's pretty helpful. You can have an overview of how to play and then a step-by-step. And you're going to see there's pictures on every step of this that you go that kind of explains what you're going to be doing. Very nice rule book. Very good completing task, how to complete your eyes. The end of the turn, what you do there to set up another one. And the end of game, how to score. Very good rule book. I'd probably give myself 15, 20 minutes to read through this, and you'll be up and running in no time. So this is going to be the city board. Based on the number of players, you're going to put the police car on there, and the rest of the players will have theirs here. Now, each round when you're playing the game, you're going to roll all of the dice, but in addition, you'll roll the black dice. The black dice will move the police car either 0, 1, or 2 spaces. And think of the police car as a timer for the game. When he gets to the red, or in fact any car gets to the red, that will trigger the end of the game, one of the ways, or completing a number of heist cards. But if you're behind him at the end of the game, let's say the white car is behind him but not the red, you will lose 3 victory points at the end of the game. So you kind of want to keep pace with him. Now what's also going to be happening as your car moves and you cross these little lines, you're going to gain things. In this case, 2 coins. Here I would gain a loot box. There are shortcuts that you can zoom through if you want to give up that reward, because maybe you're trying to push the end of the game or catch up to the police car. If you get to these spots, you will gain victory points for going past those. So that's a quick overview of how the city board is going to work. And here is the scoreboard. So there's going to be a score here. Obviously, it's going to keep track of your points around the outside of it. In the middle here, you're going to have a board with your little meeple guy. And if you want to buy an upgrade, you will simply pay the coins. So the first one will be $3. And the next one I buy will be $3. The next one is $4 all the way around until you get to the bottom. Now, after you've done all the upgrades that you can do, you can no longer upgrade once you're here. Every 5 coins you spend can be $3. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 possible upgrades you can have in the game. You can take this at any point, on any turn, on anybody's turn. If you have the money to pay, you can simply pay it, and you will draw 3 upgrade cards from the deck, look at them, and choose which one you want to keep, discarding the other 2. So each player is going to randomly have a gang like this with all the numbers between 2 and 12 on it. When you're the boss, which just means it's your player turn, you're going to roll the 4 dice. Now, the black dice, I've already showed you how it's going to move the cop car at the end of your turn, but the other dice you're going to have. So in this case, let's just say I rolled something like this, a 3, 6, 1, a 5. I could take this, and for a coin, I could spend 1 coin if I wanted to and re-roll as many dice as I want. Maybe I want to re-roll these dice. So let's just say I got a 4, and I'm going to get different numbers to utilize. So I got a 6. So for 1 coin, I can re-roll as many times as I want. I can re-roll as many times as I can afford to do it. Then I'm going to pair these up. So I could have an 11 and a 5, or maybe I'd want to have 9 and a 7. Whatever it is, depending on what I'm trying to score. So let's just say I did 9 and 7. So I'll put 9 here, and I'll put a 7 here. The 7 is going to give me 1 steering wheel. Now the steering wheel is always going to move your car on this track. So I've got 1 steering wheel. I would simply move my car 1 space. So that's what the steering wheels are going to do. Now, this other one's going to have a lock on it. You're going to see different things like that. One right here gives you 2 coins, and the rest of them are going to have icons. So you're always going to have 2 heist cards that are face up in front of you. And what they're going to show you is the icons you need. So I need 2 masks and a lock. So if I had that lock one right there, I would simply take one of the check marks, and I would place it on the lock. Now, I'm 1/3 of the way of completing this. Now, you do have a catch-all here. You have the 2 masks, the 2 hands, the 2 locks, and the 2 flashlights. Let's say I would have got something like a flashlight. I'm like, okay, I don't have a flashlight on either of my heist cards. That's okay. I can put it over here. Now, if I ever complete these 2 masks, that gives me a wild. I can put it on anything that I want. If I complete 2 of these, I get 2 coins. If I complete 2 locks, I get to move up 1 on the city. If I complete 2 flashlights, I get a loot card. Now, loot cards are always going to give you little goodies. Sometimes victory points, sometimes coins. Sometimes it'll let you activate the person next to you instead. And these are all used once. Sometimes it'll just give you extra icons, etc. So loot cards can be very valuable. What I'm trying to do is I am trying to accomplish this. If I do, then I will get this victory point at the end of the game. I will flip the card over, and it'll be one of the 6. If I complete 6, the game will also end. But it gives me this gold bag.
Now, you're going to have different necklaces you can get, but they all work kind of the same. So if I have the most gold bags, I get the gold bag necklace. That gives me 1 victory point just for gaining it, and I can put it on any of my people I want. Say I want to put it on him. Then in the future, every time I activate 7 and he still has the necklace, I'm going to get an additional victory point. Now, at the bottom of these cards, if some of these cards will have powers on them, I will have those powers for the rest of the game. Some cards will not have powers on them. They just kind of give you the abilities and the victory points. Some will have the red powers. Some will have purple powers, which will score at the end of the game. And some I have, like here, has a loot box at the bottom. I can just gain that loot box. So that's kind of how the game is going to go. Now, remember, I said I could use 2 of these. Well, if it's my turn, anybody else can use 1 of these. So if Herman was playing with us, Herman can use the 7 or the 9, but not both. Now, let's say I had done something like this. This is a 6. Let's say I had done 10 instead. So I had done 10 and 6. Then Herman could pick the 6 or the 10. So even though I get to choose the dice and activate both, all the other players get to choose 1 of the pairs that I've selected and activate that. And that's a quick overview of how you play Bad Company.
Who should buy this game? Anybody looking for that dice rolling where people are always doing it. There's not a lot of downtime in the game because it's simultaneous. You're always kind of doing something. You're always going to need to pay attention when the dice are being rolled. You're building your gang up, and it looks really cool how they stretch out, etc. And the cards will be different every time you play. So great experience. Highly recommend this game. Definite keeper for us.